y'all. My name is Jasmine Jones. I'm a licensed clinical social worker as well as, a licensed therapist. And you are watching Black Girl, a Therapist in the Wild. And today we are going to talk about closure. Are we really looking for closure at the end of a relationship? Or are we looking for a reason to blame ourselves? So stay tuned. I am here in my hot apartment with my fan on. I'm using a regular microphone because the one that attaches the lavalier died because I didn't turn it off when I was done with it. So we're just gonna have to do our best today because I'm not turning the fan off. The windows are open, it's sweltering, and you will see me break a sweat. So get ready. Anyways, today's discussion, I was thinking about it because I was, contemplating some of the conversations that I've had with clients about the endings of their relationships and how not just me or clients or everybody, we all try to look for a reason why the relationship ended. Closure. We want to hear an apology. We want to hear, why they did what they did and things like that. But in reality, a lot of us may be searching for a reason to blame ourselves for the end of the relationship. I need to know what I did to make this go south, especially if you're in a toxic or abusive relationship, being constantly reminded that everything is your fault, that person's, all of that person's issues was your fault. You go through the cycle of abuse where you got the honeymoon, you got the buildup, and then you got the climax where the abuse happens. And you're always trying to search for that honeymoon, and you feel like you caused the climax most of the time, or you caused the abuse most of the time. And it doesn't help that the person that is the abuser blames you for it. That's a hallmark of abuse, whether it's physical or emotional abuse. Why did you make me do this to you? Or even if it's just a relationship that ended because you both, the feelings just stop flowing, and you kind of are distant emotionally from each other. Or if somebody cheated, there's still that knee-jerk reaction to figure out what went wrong, what did I do, how can I fix it. And oftentimes closure can be a journey into trying to keep the relationship together. So really understanding, what are you seeking closure for? Are you seeking closure because you still feel like the relationship can go on? Are you seeking closure because you want to know what you did wrong? Are you seeking closure because you want to hear an apology from this person that's never apologized or owned up for anything that they've done to you? What are you seeking with closure? And usually the person that's seeking closure is usually the person that suffered the most during the relationship. Wanting to know why something is ending is usually the hallmark of somebody that suffered a lot in a relationship. Not to say that, somebody that is abusive can't want to seek closure, but a lot of times you kind of know what it is when they come after you, because they built up a pattern of coming after you and wanting to rebuild the relationship. So a lot of times people that are abusive don't necessarily use the word closure. They use the words, I want to get back together, I'm sorry, let's just talk about it, and so on and so forth. They try to rebuild the relationship rather than say, I just need to know why we ended so that I can move on. So when it comes to seeking closure, it can be very difficult, to let that need go. And also understanding that maybe you're not really seeking closure. Maybe you're looking for a reason to blame yourself, or you're looking for a reason to rekindle this relationship here that may not need to be rekindled, but you are covering it in the guise of closure. There are a lot of articles that say that, we need closure, or we don't need closure, we don't need closure in order to end a relationship. I'll link some below, but I think we do need a sense of closure, but not in the sense of we need this other person to provide us closure. More so, we need to find our own self-closure. And that comes with what I like to call radical acceptance. It's a dialectical behavioral theory teaching that's basically saying that you have to accept the reality of your situation in order to move past it. So accepting the fact that the person that hurt you that's who they are. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no, oh, maybe they're this type of person, or maybe they're going through that, or maybe I can fix it. You're coming up with random thoughts of why this person is acting the way they're acting, or you want to know why this person's the way they're acting, instead of just accepting that this person, especially in abusive relationships, this person might just have issues and is unable to learn how to love themselves, you know. And in accepting that reality, there's no more questions about what did I do to cause this. This person was like this before you met them. You did nothing to cause this. This is who they are as a person. This is who they are as a human being. You know, if they cheated on you, this is the decision that they made in their mind, which had nothing to do with you, because at the end of the day, if you don't like your relationship or there's something wrong in it, you can always choose to either leave the relationship or talk about what's going on and try to work through the relationship. But the fact that you decided to cheat means that internally, there's something going on inside of you that needs to be worked on that has nothing to do with your partner at the end of the day, you know? So, and when I say has nothing, like with the example of cheating, it can get kind of wonky, kind of up and down, depending on the situation. Like, oh, they stopped showing interest in me. Okay, well, did you try talking to them about it? Did you try, working through the relationship? Did you ask them if they wanted to go to therapy? Okay, when it got to the point where you saw that they weren't going to do any of these things or work on any of this stuff, why didn't you just leave? And that's a mental health thing too. We want to maintain the relationship, but even though we know that this person isn't the right one for us, and you have to recognize, okay, this person hurts me in different ways, and so I need to start working on leaving. Of course, this is discussing non-physically abusive relationships where you may be afraid that this person might, kill you or something. You have to leave. You have to have a safety plan for that. You can't just be like, oh, I'm just going to leave and, not be a part of this relationship. No, you have to have a safety plan. But in general, when you're in a relationship and you decide to cheat, you decide to do something that will damage the relationship deeply, then that is a choice that person is making. And as a partner of a person that is making choices that damages the relationship, you have to see that person for what they are, see their actions for who they are in that moment. This is who this person is. This is what this person decided to do. There's no other answers to it, especially if you ask them why, and then they give you confusing answers like, well, I don't know. No, you know why you did what you did. You just don't want to necessarily be honest about it. And, okay, well, I'm going to accept that you did this thing, and it had nothing to do with me. I may have, been distant in the relationship or something like that, but at the end of the day, you still did this thing. So instead of working through it and talking about it, you made this choice. So I'm going to make the choice to step back and accept that this is the type of person that you are, and also accept yourself for the type of person that you are, because it doesn't mean that the other partner that got cheated on or left or abandoned didn't play a part in the relationship. It's more so radically accepting that, maybe I am emotionally distant sometimes, and that can push people away. Maybe I do allow negative influences into my life and not set up proper boundaries against, negative people, and I need to work on that, because predators will prey on the vulnerable. And so that's something that I need to work on, as an individual, not allowing predatorial, manipulative, abusive type people into my life as much as possible, So radical acceptance also means accepting who you are and the things that you allow into your life and the things that you might need to work on going forward, and it's okay to accept that you may need to work on some stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. So it's a two-way street. Learning how to accept that the person that hurt you, that's just kind of who they are in that moment, and there's nothing you can do about it, and you have to move forward. And then also learning as far as the part that you might have played in this relationship. Once you accept that your partner's abusive and you understand that has nothing to do with you and this is their issue, radical acceptance of who they are at face value, what they're showing you, then it's easier to put up boundaries. It's easier to start working on yourself and asking yourself, well, why do I allow certain negative forces into my life, and how can I stop that next time? It starts to allow you to heal. Until you accept who your partner is and who you are, then you will never get closure. You will always be searching for this otherworldly answer of, oh, I must have been this horrible person, and this is why this person did this to me, and so I need to make this right and make this relationship right. So when it comes to closure, understanding, most importantly, that it's not your fault, you didn't do anything wrong most of the time, and that you have to accept who this person is, or else it's not going to move forward the way that you want it to move. And I'm talking a lot to people that are the people that influenced the end of the relationship, but the people that broke up, the relationship without providing closure, the people that were abusive, the people that cheated, the people that just left abruptly from the relationship with no rhyme or reason. Those are the people that you do not necessarily need closure from. Because at the end of the day, those are the issues that they're showing that is not okay. And you're not going to necessarily change those issues or make those issues better. So basically, self-closure happens when you allow the people in your life that have hurt you to take their responsibility for what they did and seeing them for who they are, and then you just move forward. You move forward and you say, well, I don't need an apology. I don't need to question why they did what they did. I don't need to go back and have long drawn out conversations about this, because I've already tried. As the relationship is ending, you try a multitude of times to figure out why things have ended, but at some point you have to say, I've already tried. I've tried enough, and so I'm just going to focus on myself and focus on the type of relationships that I want to build in my life. And it can be friendships, it can be even family relationships. I don't need to know why my parents hurt me the way they did. At a certain point, you just have to recognize that radical acceptance, they went through things, maybe they went through trauma or things like that, and they never learned how to love themselves and love other people, including their children, the way they're supposed to. And so I need to move forward from that. And it takes time. Understandably, it takes time. It takes therapy, lots of therapy. Dialectical behavioral therapy is fun in that it helps you really learn how to accept your emotions as well as understand the emotions of others around you. And so I like that, I was able to kind of pull this concept from it. Radical acceptance is difficult because it puts you in this space of throwing away all of the questions that you had about this person. Throwing away all the self-blame and just really accepting the fact that this is just who this person is. Maybe this person really doesn't care about me. Especially if you're in an abusive relationship. Maybe this person really doesn't care about me. Maybe this person, because this person can't care about themselves, they really can't care about me. Maybe all the things that this person has been through, that they've told me about, that I've experienced and as I've gone along with them in their life, in our life together, has deeply affected this person's emotional stability. And that's why they're the way they are. And I have to have a twist that I didn't untwist. I have to accept that, face value. This is who this person is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, or maybes, or why, or I did this to cause this. Maybe if I could fix this person. We always get caught in the trap of wanting to fix people. People have to want to work on their own mental health. If they don't want to work on their own mental health, they're not going to. They may take advantage of you caring for them. They may take advantage of you, being there for them all the time, but they're not going to change their emotional stability based off of how much you're there for them. People have to want to change themselves. So the people that are abusive, they're not going to change because you cook for them every night. It goes deeper than that. It goes to the point where whoever hurt them, did what they did to them and ruined whatever mental health stability they had to make them want to hurt other people. And you're not going to fix that with your pot of spaghetti. You're not going to fix that by lowering your voice when you talk to them. You're not going to fix that by dressing the way they want you to dress or doing the things they want you to do. Because emotionally stable people don't want little dolls that they can play with and, do things with and mold and shape the way they want. Emotionally stable people want to grow and change, and they want people around them with individuality and various personality traits that make them a little bit different from from the emotionally stable person. So the more you sit and dwell on what you could have done to make this relationship better, the more you stay stuck in the mindset that you were in when you were in that relationship. And the easier it is for that person to come back and play with your emotions again, because you're still stuck in the mindset that you were in when you were in that relationship. Closure comes when you throw away that mindset of, this is my fault, I have to fix this. This person's coming back. So that means that, maybe I did something right, until it turns out once again, that they turn mean again. The honeymoon period, when they come back and then they turn mean again. Or, they might be a serial cheater and they come back and it seems like, oh, well, maybe they won't cheat anymore, until you find out they've been cheating this whole time. They just came back because they wanted their cake and eat it too. This is who this person is. There's nothing that's going to change this person. There's nothing that I can do to make this person better. This person needs to work on themselves. And a lot of times, even when an ex works on themselves, sometimes the trauma has already been done. What she's doing, the trauma's already been done. So like, even though this person could go to therapy and change their whole outlook on everything and whatever, just being around them can be traumatizing. Just seeing them, hearing their voice makes you feel triggered, even no matter how nice they sound, because they've been nice before. There's nice moments that they had. So yeah, they could be nice all the time, but I would be cautious of going back to people that are abusive, that have said they went to therapy and worked on it. Just be cautious and aware. And if you still feel triggered by their mere presence, then it's okay to step back. But when it comes to closure, the first step is to radically accept that this person is who they are presenting to be. And then the next step is to start working on yourself and on your own self-love. Those are the 2 steps to closure. Closure is not running back to the person looking for a reason to blame yourself still, looking for apologies, looking for, them to tell you that it wasn't your fault and things like that. That's not closure. That keeps you stuck in the negative mindset you were in when you were first in this relationship. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. Hope it made sense. And I'm probably going to do another video for Insecure this week, because why not? And I hope you all have a great week. Work week ahead. It's Sunday night. So yeah, later days.